Okay. But did you get a picture of what was going on?
Yeah.
Okay. So Gawain is at this guy's castle and he's he's waiting to meet the Green Knight and they've got a new game. All right, so if you're seeing my screen here, I'd like you to start reading, please.
So the next day the Lord rose before dawn and set off to hunt. The air was soon thick with arrows as the hounds and horses flew through the forest racing after a herd of deer.
Okay, so what does it mean when the air was soon thick? What does that mean to you?
I think it's like he's going really fast.
Okay. The thick air is like when it's cloudy out or fog, things like that. All right. Keep reading here. Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, go, Gawain dozed in bed, half asleep. He heard a sound and looked through a gap in his bed curtains to see the lady of the house creeping into his room. Gawain shut his eyes. He pretended to be asleep as he heard her pull back the curtains and sit down softly on the edge of the bed.
all right. So Gawain is trying to sleep, but a woman is in his room and he pretended to be asleep. But what did she do?
She went on the bed.
Right. So there's a stranger, and you might make a note of that here. You might say, okay, um, so the 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 thing here is that Gawain is um he's supposed to be sleeping, but this person's interrupting his sleep. All right, so let's keep reading here. All right. He lay there, keep reading for me, please.
He lay there for some time, wondering what had brought on this strange visit, and hoping that she would leave when he didn't. When she did, he stretched and opened his eyes.
Okay. So what's going on here? What do you see? What do you visualize here?
Uh, that she's trying to get him.
Yeah, we don't really, it's weird. It's like he's trying to sleep and there's a stranger in his bed and it's like what's going on here? So keep reading here. Can you keep reading?
Oh, good morning, Sir Gawain. The lady said, "You slept so well that anyone might have wandered in here, and now," she giggled, "you are trapped."
Okay. So he's got her trapped, but really, I mean, is he really trapped?
No.
Okay. All right. Um, all right. So it says, "Good morning," said Sir Gawain, sitting up in his bed. "I will do whatever you ask of me, but first let me dress, then we can talk more easily." So he's like, "Hey, I wanna get my clothes on, and then we'll talk." He's thinking she needs like help, moving furniture or something. All right, so here we go. Let's keep reading here. "Nonsense," the lady replied. "I'd much prefer to stay just as we are. My husband is out. Who do you think her husband is?"
Uh, Nonsense, the lady replied.
No, no, and you're not answering my question. Who do you think her Who do you think
Huh?
her husband is? Who do you think her husband is?
Gawain?
Nope. He- Her husband is the lord that left the castle. So you might make a
The
note of
Green
that here. Probably. It's probably the Green Knight. We shall see, right? So he's saying, the servants are snoring, and my maids are away, and the door to this room is barred with a bolt. I have an honored guest, a brave knight, and I will take my time talking to him. All right, so here we go. You flatter me, Sir Gawain replied uncomfortably. I'm sure I don't deserve such praise. Good night. Nothing would give me greater pleasure than talking to you. I'd rather be here with you than have all the gold in the world. So this is the woman speaking. Like what is she trying to tell him when she says, I would rather be here and I'm getting pleasure from being here than all the gold in the world? What is she trying to tell him?
She's trying to tell him she loves him.
Yes, yes. She's in love with him and she wants him. And all right, let's keep reading here. So this is a dialogue, and I know it can get a little bit difficult to understand what's going on. Um, but let's keep reading here. All right. So it says, You are too kind, said Sir Gawain. They talked for hours of many things, and finally the lady got up to leave. At the door, she turned back to him. You are noble, handsome, and polite, but you are not the famous Sir Gawain. So she doesn't think that it's Gawain, does she? But it is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we think it is. So she's finally ready to get up and leave.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's keep reading here. Let me grab more of
Uh,
this.
You are too kind, said Sir Gawain. They talked for hours of many things, and finally the lady got up to leave. At the door she turned back to him. You are noble, handsome, and polite.
Okay.
Uh,
Now he says, Very well, said Sir Gawain. If a kiss is all you ask for, I shall keep my promise. He kissed her, and she returned his kiss and left without another word. So he kissed her, right? And you might make a note of that he actually kissed her. Do you have something you can like underline with or write with?
yeah.
Okay. I would recommend doing that. All right. That night, the host returned from the hunt and showed Gawain his hall, a huge pile of venison. Venison are deer. You don't know that. Venison or deer. And he asked him, well, what do you think? And he said, well, it's a fine result, Gawain replied. So Gawain's very happy. Um, all right, so here we go. All right. Um, can you read here, starting at the top?
It's all yours according to our bargain, said his host, and whatever I have won between these walls belongs to you, said Gawain. So he gave him a kiss, just as the lady had given him. Now, Gawain, your gift would mean more to me if you told me where you had won it, said the host, a smile playing on his lips. That wasn't the agreement, so I shall not answer.
Okay, so Gawain gets the venison, and the lord, the host, he gets a kiss from Gawain. Like you might make a note here that Gawain actually kisses him. which is a little weird, but that's what he does. So the gay one actually kissed the guy. Okay. But then the guy wants to know where he had won it. Like he wants more information. You see that?
Yeah.
But the gay one says, "Hey, nope, like that's not what we agreed to." Is that okay?
Hmm.
All right, let's keep reading here.
And whatever I've won between these
No, no,
ones.
no, no. We've already read all this. So we'll keep going. This is where we're gonna keep going. Go ahead and read this, please.
That night they shared a feast by the fire and agreed to play again the next day. Early the next morning, the Lord and his men leaped from their beds to join the hunt. The hounds raced through thickets and forests until they sniffed the scent of a wild boar. It burst out of a thicket, the
Okay. Let me keep reading here.
hurling past the men and trampling the hounds.
Keep going.
The Lord tore after the beast, chasing him until dusk. When finally in a river, man and beast faced each other. As they clashed, the Lord slashed the boar's neck and burst his heart.
Okay. So they're going out hunting yet again. All right. So the Lord is going to be out hunting. Daywin did not join him, but they go out and hunt boar today, right? So this is almost like day two. Do you follow that?
Mhm.
This is day two, early the next morning, but they already did that um, on day one. Day one, he got venison. Um, I don't know. I'm going to try to find that. Uh, so day one, he got venison. Day two looks like it's boar. So these are questions that you might be asked. Okay. All right. Now let's go find out what's going on with Gawain.
Huh?
We're gonna look and see what happens with Gawain. So here we go. I'm gonna start reading. Gawain was still snoring when the hunters set out. So he's back at the castle sleeping. But the lady, so the same lady as the other day, she hadn't forgot about him. She crept into his room and again and sat down in his bed. If this is Gawain who greets me, then I am disappointed that he has neglected the first rule of honorable behavior, she said. Which rules? Asked Gawain sleepily. You should have kissed me, of course, said the lady. And so Sir Gawain gave her a kiss, which she returned. Again they talked for hours. How can it be that you, an honorable knight, have not talked to me of love? The lady asked. So what? So they're talking a lot.
Mhm.
They're talking, talking, talking. Okay. And she wants to know, why haven't you talked to me about love?
She wants to marry him.
Probably. All the tales of famous knights tell how knights live for love and lay down their lives for love, and yet of love you have not spoken a single word. So that's definitely gonna be something the teacher's going to ask you about. Like, what did she want to know about? And it's love, 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 love. Okay. So here's Sir Gawain's reply. He says, "In faith, I know little of love." So does Gawain know much about love?
No.
He knows little of love, and he changes the subject. And they talked some more. All the while she gave him smiles and loving look, which Gawain politely ignored. In the end, she asked for a kiss. He kissed her once more, and she left. So he's kissed her now 3 times, twice this morning and once uh, the previous day. All right, so now we're back to uh, so that night, Gawain's host gave him the enormous boar, and Gawain gave him the 2 kisses he had won that morning. After dinner, they sang song after song, and the lady and Gawain sat together all the while. And so loving was the lady to Gawain, sending him smiles and inviting looks, that he felt half mad with desire. So what does that mean if he's half mad with desire? Like, does he want her?
No.
Yes. Yes, he does. So Gawain's starting to fall in love as well. Gawain is starting to be in love with her. All right. So let's look. Let's keep going here. I'm gonna have you read now. Let me snip this in. Could you read this for us, please?
And the Lord and Gawain agreed to play the game a third time. The next day at dawn, the hunting horns rang through the woods, and the Houston rode through the forest after a fox. They chased him for miles while the willy fox kept running ahead with the baying hounds hard on his heels.
All right, so it's a wily fox. Wily means it's like sneaky. He's a
Mm-hmm.
sneaky little fox. Like it's hard for them to catch him. Okay. And so they're playing the game for the third day. So you might make a note of that it's the third day that they're playing the game. And let's see what happened. Let's see here. All right. So it says here, Gawain lay in bed that morning, dreaming of the Green Knight. In his dreams, he heard the knight sharpening his axe and saw the steel blade crashing down towards him. He woke with a start to find the lady sitting on the end of his bed, frowning at him. So she's there yet again. But what did he dream about? What did Gawain dream about?
He dreamt about the Green Knight trying to hurt him.
That's right. That's exactly right. So that's bad. But then she's there and she says, "How can you sleep on this beautiful morning?" she asked. "Wake up, Gawain, let us talk." They talked for some time, and then lady grew serious and quiet. "Gawain," she said. So she's now plotting against him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here we go. She says, "Will you not give me some gift that I might keep as a memory of you?" "My lady," Gawain said, "you deserve the highest prize that I could offer, but all I have is a glove. It would be far too lowly a gift for you." "Well, then do not give me a gift. Still, here is mine for you." She said, and offered him a ruby ring from her finger. So Gawain's getting a ruby, and he offered her a glove. That's kind of the key points here. So he's like, "Hey, here's a glove. I don't have anything else, but it's probably too lowly a gift for you." But she gives him some jewelry. Do you follow that, Aiden?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep reading here. Let's keep reading. Can you read this for us?
I cannot take this, Gawain said, since I have no gift to give you. In return, then take this belt. She urged him, unbuckling a beautiful green belt from around her waist. By God's grace, I cannot take this either. I must refuse.
Okay, so she's really, he's saying no, 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 I can't take this. And what is she trying to do?
Get his attention.
Well, she's trying to like keep him safe. Like she's in love with him. All right, so let's keep reading here. "No matter how flattered I am," he said, "I give you thanks 1,000 times over." So she says, "If you knew its powers, you would not refuse it," the lady said. So this belt has powers. What kind of powers do you think it has? Let's keep reading. It says, "Whoever wears this belt will be safe from his enemies. He could face all the cunning and strength of 1,000 giants and never be slain." So this belt is going to save him. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me. All right. So Gawain looked again at the belt in her hands. With luck, it could save his life. As she pressed him to take it, he gave in. The lady begged him not to mention a word of this to her husband, and he agreed, thanking her with all his heart. For his thanks, he was repaid with 3 kisses. When the lady had left, Gawain dressed and hid the belt beneath his clothes. So Gawain did accept the belt. That's very important here. Now, I want you to go back and look at the drawing. You have the papers in front of you?
Mhm.
Go back and look at the knight on, it's actually going to be really hard to see. The knight's on page 108. I was going to ask you to see if he had a green belt. Do you think he had a green belt?
No.
Okay. So the next thing here is, let's have you keep reading. Um, let's let me grab the next. Sorry, I got got lost with where we were left off here. Okay. Um, all right, so here we go. So what's going to happen to the belt? Is Gawain going to have to give up the belt, Aiden?
Yeah.
Is he going to have to give up the belt?
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Can you read this for us, please?
That night the Lord came into the hall holding a fox, and Gawain gave him 3 kisses. I'm sorry that all I have for you is this tiny fox, said the host. It's not so much compared to your 3 kisses. Enough, said Gawain. We have completed our pact, but he said nothing of the magical belt. He had one.
Okay. So he doesn't tell him about the belt. Do you think he should have told him about the belt?
Yeah.
He probably should have. All right. So now let's keep reading. All right. There we go. Go ahead and can you read for us, please?
Um, That night the feast was merrier than ever before, and it was with a heavy heart that Gawain set out the next morning. A wild wind whipped across the land, and sleet battered the ground as Sir Gawain rode away from the castle, hidden beneath his armor. He wore the silken green belt. An old servant led the way until they came to the edge of a forest. Gawain, you are close to the chapel that you seek, the old man said, but the place you are going is perilous indeed.
Careless. All right. So what's going on here? Is
Um,
Where is Gawain going?
the Green Knight.
He's going to the Green Knight. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me grab this next part. All right, so I'm going to start reading here. It says, lives a wild man who loves murder more than he loves his own life. If you find him, he will kill you. Take another road, sire. I swear I won't tell a soul. Thank you, Gawain said. Your words are kindly meant, but I must be true to my vow. So he's going, right? Gawain is going to the Green Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's keep reading. It's getting good, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Gawain rode into the forest, and soon he came to a bleak-looking valley with cliffs on both sides that reached up into the sky like jagged teeth. The Green Chapel was nowhere to be seen. Instead, ahead of him was an old cave covered with moss. As Gawain looked up to it, he heard a sound that made his blood run cold. It was the sound of metal scraping across the stone. "Are you there?" Gawain shouted to the echoing cliffs. "I've come to honor my pact." All right, so
Yeah,
let
that's a
me,
good answer.
sure.
I'm back, Matthew.
Okay, so he says, "You had better be quick. It's now or never." "Wait," came a voice from beyond the cliffs. "You'll soon get what I promised you." Eventually, the grinding stopped, and a moment later, the Green Knight came charging out of a dark hole in the cliffs with the axe held high above his head. So the Green Knight is there. All right.
Mm-hmm.
He leaped down to where Gawain was standing. "Welcome, Gawain. After all your wandering," he roared. "You know the vow made between us. Last year I took your blow. Now I have one to give you in return. So take off your helmet and kneel before me. Show no more fear than I did when I gladly lowered my head and you severed it with one blow." "I will not hesitate," Gawain replied. Though all the colors had drained from his face, he knelt. So is Gawain scared? Aiden?
Yeah.
Is Gawain scared?
Uh. Yeah.
Okay, I agree. He leaped down to where Gawain was standing. Sorry, that's not what we want. Grab a snip here. Jeez, come on. All right. Sorry, it's there we go. All right, so with all his strength, he aimed a savage blow. If the axe had met Gawain's neck, he would have surely been a dead man. But Gawain shrank back, and the axe hacked through the snow and bit into the ground beneath. "Call yourself brave?" the Green Knight snarled. "Call yourself honorable? I didn't so much as blink when you struck me. I've never met such a cowardly knight." So he got out of the way. Here we go. So here finally we're gonna see what happens. "I flinched at first, but I will not fail," Sir Gawain said defiantly. "Try me again. I will not move. I swear. Deal me my destiny." So he's finally ready to take it. Then Gawain knelt and shut his eyes, knowing his life had reached its end. "Take this," the knight roared as he raised the axe and sliced down through the air. But the axe, what do you think happens? What do you think happens?
Um. Gawain dies.
Okay. The axe stopped dead means it just stopped right above, hovering just an inch above his bare neck. Under the axe, Gawain was as still as a stone. Now you've shown a bit of courage. I'll dispatch you properly, the Green Knight said. Then get hacking, Galen growled Gawain. Your threats mean nothing to me. By God, I'll slice off your head right now. The Green Knight heaved the axe in the air and let it drop, but at the last moment he veered away, and Gawain was left with just a nick in the side of his neck. A splash of bright red blood stained the snow.
Why was he left with with just a nick in the side of his neck?
I don't know. The belt seemed to have protected him. So Gawain leaped to his feet, grabbed his spear, thrust his helmet, and turned his face to the enemy. You've had your swing now, he shouted. I've taken one blow without hitting back. Try me again, and I'll attack you. So now he's going to fight back. Try me again, and I'll attack you. The Green Knight stepped back and looked Gawain up and down. So the Green Knight's looking at Gawain. He's like, huh, I didn't expect that. He saw the light. He was on his feet and proudly held his sword. All right, so here we go. So what do you think is going to happen now? Do you think they're going to fight?
Yeah.
It would seem so, but actually that is not what is going to happen. All right, so it says here, be a little less bold, young man, he said calmly. I've done nothing more than what we agreed in the court of King Arthur. I promised you one strike, and I've dealt it. If I'd wanted to slice off your head with a single blow, I could have. My first blow missed you. That was only fair in keeping with the contract we made that first night when you promised to give up all you won to me. So he's referring to the night at the castle. At these words, Gawain felt as if he might faint to the ground. Then I missed you again, for the following day you kissed my wife, and then kissed me. Here we go. So now he's saying, twice you told me the truth, and twice I left you unscathed. The third time you strayed, and so you felt my blade. Now Gawain's face was burning with shame. The belt you wear beneath your armor is mine, the knight said. It was woven by my wife, and so I know it well. I sent her to test your loyalty and found you to be the most faultless fellow on earth. Your only fault was that you loved your life. So what was his only fault?
Now he loved his own life, but that doesn't
Yep.
make sense.
Well, uh, we'll see. All right, we're going to get through this. We're almost done. Sir Gawain stood there for what seemed like an eternity. Then he took the belt from around his waist and flung it to the ground. A curse on greed and fear. They breed villainy and destroy virtue, he shouted. I was afraid of the axe. My fear made me forget the loyalty which every knight knows. Tell me how can I clear my name? I have shamed. All right, so he says, here's how you can do it. Your confession is enough. So that's how he clears his name. He clears his name with confession. You see that? I declare you are as innocent as the day you were born. Please take the belt and wear it to remember our meeting. Now come with me to my castle where a feast awaits us. Thank you, said Gawain. I've stayed here long enough, but I will wear this belt as a sign of my weakness. He jumped up onto his horse. One more thing before you go, good sir. What is your name? So remember, he didn't know his name from the when they first met.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he gives him his name here, and that could be like a multiple choice question. My name is Bertilac de Haupt Desert. The Green Giant said, it was my guest, Morgan Le Fay, who dreamed up this plan. I believe she expected you to stray and lose your life. So Gawain bade the knight goodbye and rode away and went on many more adventures. All right. that is it. We're going to stop there for today. And there's a little bit more, but that is it. Um, Hopefully you've got a little bit better understanding of what's going on here. So we're going to stop right here for today.